it's cold enough for it not to melt, and it only on the main roads it's disappeared, but on the footpaths and that it's still there, but thinning out as people walk on it.
Wow, that's so cool. I want snow. I love
You're going to
snow.
have to move further north.
Oh, I don't know. These past couple of years, we've had some pretty good snow.
Have you?
2021, November 2021. I did some magic. I saw the snow. I did some magic, and it lasted 3 weeks.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I love snow.
So do I. I'm absolutely. I love the changing of the seasons, but I love distinct seasons. So I love hot summers, cold, snowy winters, and that transitional period between the two at the spring and autumn equinoxes. But yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you say about seasons, actually, because that's one of the themes that I'm going to talk about. Excuse me. In my talk about Yule.
Do you want to start the recording, or do you want me to start it for you?
Yeah, I can start that. I'll do that in a. Cause it's,
all right, okay. I'll sit back and put my feet up then.
Yeah. You do that, sir. You do that. You do a lot on this channel. So.
I'm going to say good evening to Diana, who's just joined.
Hi, Diana.
Are you here for the show, Diana, or are you just here to earwig and have a good listen? You don't have to unmute and say anything. We're a bit chatty on the pre-show. But,
yes.
Here we go.
I'm just going to go and check that I'm live on my channel. I think I am. Yes, I am. That's good. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So yeah, it's very cold here at the moment. We did have a frost this morning, but it wasn't as crunchy as yesterday's frost, which was really crunchy.
But we just had another blast of snow for about 15-20 minutes, so our icy sort of whatever's left overs has now been recovered with a new layer of snow. So hopefully in the morning we'll have had a bit more during the night. It'll be a bit thicker.
Yes, yeah. I'll tell you, the best snow I ever experienced was definitely up in Scotland.
All right, yes.
Proper snow. It never left the whole time I was there. I was only there for a week, but it didn't leave. It was just, once it snowed, that was it. You got snow.
That's how it should be. That's how I remember winters being when I was a kid growing up. It snowed, and then that was it for 2-3 months. It was just snow everywhere, apart from the mucky grey snow from the main roads. Other than that, everywhere else stayed covered.
Yeah, it was. I remember trying to make an igloo once. It didn't work.
Didn't work. Every kid's done that. Using an ice cream tub, I used got an ice cream tub when it were empty. So I filled it with snow, packed it in, then flipped it upside down, much like you would do with a sandcastle bucket. Yeah. And made an igloo type sort of thing. Didn't work out. I ran out of snow, or I never managed to get a roof on it anyway.
I didn't even get past the first layer, It was just, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't have a clue, but I really wanted to build an igloo. They always seem so cozy.
Well, apparently, once you're inside, and you can even light a candle and everything, and they can get quite warm, which is quite contradictory to what you'd think would be the case.
Yeah.
But hey ho, to be an Eskimo.
Oh yes. Right, so I'm going to start the recording. Whoops.
All right, then, Angie, I'm going to mute myself. You've got Eshel on after your show at 7 o'clock. So she's now changed her fortnightly show that was last week every fortnight. She's now not done last week, and she's starting again tonight, every fortnight from tonight.
Okay, fantastic.
Right, I'll mute myself. Have a great show. See you at the other side.
Will do. Thanks, Andy. Okay, guys. So tonight's show is all about Yule. Oh, bear with me. Big fingers, little keyboard. Right. Okay. So first of all, happy early Yule, everybody. And today is also the festival of Kukulkan. I love saying that name. He is the oh, I'm going to get this wrong now, aren't I? Mayan, Aztec, one of the two. Don't shoot me because I've got it wrong. Serpent god. As far as I know, he's the one that's carved into the steps coming down from one of the big pyramids somewhere in South America. I watched so many shows on that stuff for years. It's all mashed up in my head. Anyway, so yes, early Yule. What's that, Ange? It's not something I made up. Although, if I was going to make anything up, it would be that. So, years ago, I used to buy yearly the witch's diary or date book or something like that. It was. I don't buy them anymore because I used to spend days going in and changing things in it that were wrong, which was a massive waste of time. So now I just put all the stuff that I want to remember in my phone. And the great thing with that is you can set it to repeat every year. So you only need to do it once rather than spending days changing stuff in a diary. Anyway, one year there was this really interesting, because they used to put like magical things in amongst all the, you know, the basic diary stuff. And one year I was reading in this diary about Yule. And it's not just 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, like a lot of people reckon. Well, different people say different things at different times of the year. Well, mainly just around Crimbo, but you know, but I'll get onto that later. So yeah, different people have different ideas of when it is. But for us, what we do is we mark the 21st of November. For us, the Yule tide is from today, hence early Yule. Happy early Yule, everybody. All the way through to the 21st of January. I hear people go, oh my God, what about your decorations? I don't give a crap about that. I don't know. I don't even know who invented that. Take your decorations down on the 5th of January. Otherwise, you'll, I don't know, explode or something ridiculous. So yes, we mark today, the 21st. Solstice this year is on the 21st of December, by the way. Last year it was on the 22nd or something. I can't remember. So this idea that Yule is just, you know, a couple of days here and there, I don't buy that. So I'm going to get into a little bit of the wording. Not a lot because it's extensive. And I do want to open it up for discussion as well once I've rambled on. So Yule, when I was doing a little bit of research, Yule, because those amazing notes that I had out of that diary, I took them out of the diary. I threw the rest of the diary away, but kept those. And can I find them? No. I think I might have thrown them out at some point. I don't know why. I do that sometimes. I just throw everything out and off we go. So I had to do some research. So Yule is seemingly, it looks like it's Germanic in origin, probably around the 6th century AD. Yeah. It is mentioned, early Yule is mentioned in a Saint's Day calendar. It's written in Gothic, and so it dates back to the 500s. And it's a, let me get this right, a Gothic palimpsest. Go and look that word up, because I didn't have time to look that word up. But basically, it's a written work, basically. And it contains the phrase in there. I'm probably going to say this wrong as well. I think this is from Greek. I think, if I remember rightly, this is from the Greek. Fruma Julius. So it's Fruma, Fruma, and then this word, Juleis. Julius, maybe? I don't know. But it means, here's the key thing, before Yule. And when I was looking at this, it alludes to being the word for November. Ding, ding, ding. I like that. So that's the first bit. That's the first bit of Yule, early Yule. Yeah, that's in the bag. So there is a lot more around the etymology of the words. What's really funny, when I was doing this bit of research, it's enough to say that scholars all over the place are debating when these words, this Fruma Julius, when that first came about. Yeah, it's like, well, I don't really care about that. What I care about is that there is even an idea that there is something known as before Yule, and it alludes to the month of December. It's good enough for me. Thank you. I'll take that. So we then get to around 7:30, not PM. This is AD. And there is a reference. So this is talking then about Yule and late Yule, because we go all the way from November to January. So we've got early Yule, Yule, and late Yule, which is the whole thing together is the Yule tide. Yeah. Okay. From my way of thinking, my quite logical way of thinking. So there is a reference. This is back in 730 AD in Bede's De Temporum Rationi, right? And in that text, there is a reference to the 2 months of Yule, yeah, which, what does that say, Ange? I can't even read that word I've written there. Namely, that's what I think that's what it says. So that's talking about December and January. Aha. Another bit of the puzzle falls into place, yeah. Then in the late 800s, December and January became known as Yule and after Yule. So you've got early Yule, November. You've got Yule, which is in December, and January, which is after Yule, or we call it late Yule. Yeah. Fascinating. And the thing that gets me is a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people have no idea that this, I mean, and to be honest, it probably goes back even further, because since the dawn of time, since the sun's, been doing its thing, people would have noticed the difference in the seasons. Yeah. So, that I'm quoting this stuff, but it's the written stuff though, isn't it? Because these things weren't always written down. They were passed through stories. So what we've got essentially is we've got different bits of the puzzle, which they do fit. So what we've got so far with this, yeah, and I will talk about the sort of things that we do for Yule, but we've got, well, aside from people not being able to agree on what's what and where it came from, but that doesn't matter, does it? None of that actually matters, because all that's doing is tying your brain up in knots. Yeah, it's the doing that matters. So if Yule isn't just a couple of days, 3 days, some people say 3 days, some people say it's 1 day, but if you think of Yule as more of a season than an actual specific, because everything's needs to be specific, it has to be at a specific date. We can't do anything outside that. Okay. But if you think of it more of a season than a specific time, then it kind of makes sense that the Yule tide, falls in November, December, and January. But here's another layer. The word Yule means wheel or cycle. Yeah. So you could even argue that Yuletide is all year round. That'd piss off the Christians, wouldn't it? I mean, we can open that up for discussion once I've finished rambling. And the other thing that I realized when I was doing this research was a lot of people confuse or lump in Yule with midwinter, the solstice, and they're different. They are different. The Yule tide spans, for me, those 3 months. Yeah. Yes, we mark it from the 21st, but that's a magic number, so why not? And because it correlates with the 21st, the solstice, why not? It's not always on the 21st either. It can range between the 20th and the 22nd because the Earth isn't on a timetable. So the Yule tide encompasses those 3 months, if you like, yeah. Midwinter, the solstice, falls almost in the middle of that, if you like, yeah. So the solstice being the rebirth of the sun, the light, the king, the wren, however you want to see that. And there's a time between the solstice and the 25th, yeah, where it's like things stand still. There's a stillness before, on the 25th, the light of the world returns. So that's got its mythology in many, many, many cultures throughout time and space. I'm looking at Ishtar, who's over there. Her story is about the light of the world returning after she goes into the underworld, which is where we are right now. So the light of the world returns. So there's a rebirth, but then there's it's almost like the journey. It's a bit like labor. So you have your labor pains, and there's a bit of time before the child actually, says hi at the end of its journey or the beginning of its journey. So it's a bit like that time between the solstice and the light of the world returning. Yeah. And that Light of the World returning goes all the way up until the 5th of January, which is the eve of Epiphany. The eve of Epiphany also being the time of Befana, the Christmas witch, who is, it's said that she's a fairy queen. But you can go and do some research on that as well. It's very cool. And there is actually a film. I think it's dubbed because it's an Italian film. Italian? I think it's Italian because they celebrate the Eve of Epiphany in a really big way over there. But it's a lovely film. It's called I think it's called The Christmas Witch. It's on YouTube, so you can go and grab it. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of the investigation that I did on Yule. And like I say, we've been doing this now for probably 2016, maybe 2017, something like that. And it ranges, how we mark it, has changed through the years, but we always mark it. We always mark the 21st of November. I mean, one of the things that we were doing in 2020 was we decided we'd go out, because we were going out walking and we were just being normal, not doing any of that nonsense. So what we decided we'd do is we'd go out and we'd walk around the neighbourhood. It's a good 1.5 miles, I suppose, ish. So it's not a long walk, but we have a little route that we do where we know people are going to have up their lights, their Christmas lights, their all their deckies and everything. And that year, people were basically saying F you to the establishment, and they were doing Christmas big time. Because I'll never forget, we walked around on the 21st of November that year, and nearly everyone had their lights up, or at least had lights up. They might not have everything up, but they had lights up, and I found that quite amazing, actually. So that's one of the ways that we mark it, and we try and get out every evening to kind of see, as more and more people put their deckies up, and it's just lovely. I love it. Angie's got it. The Legend of the Christmas Witch. Fantastic. It is really good. Give it a watch. It's brilliant. Now I do like my deckies, and I do like to mark the wheel of the year. So normally by now I've at least thought about what I'm going to do because I have themes in each room. We don't have lots of rooms. We only really have 1, 2, 3 rooms and the kind of landing area that we decorate. This year's everything's a bit behind because of what we've been experiencing, and I've got to get up in the loft as well. I don't really like doing that. But we did buy some more fairy lights. We bought some new fairy lights today that we're going to put in our bedroom. So I'm looking forward to putting those up. So that's step number 1, is put up the new fairy lights, which I'm really looking forward to doing that, actually. I also begin to plan the Yuletide fare, the food. We kind of do a medieval sort of theme, but then I throw in things like last year I made Stollen, which was no mean task, believe me. I'll probably make them again this year as well because they were really good. And Stollenbites, I made Stollenbites and the usual things. The mince pies, I made little diddy ones, and spice biscuits. You got to make your spice biscuits. But I tend to start planning the Yuletide foods around now. A lot of it is medieval, which is very healing food. It's amazing. So I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, fairy lights, by the way, are for life, not just for Yule. I'm also making my own almond paste this year, which I have made it once before, many years ago. But we love marzipan, so it's like if I make it, it's a lot cheaper. So, we have, because we don't do Christmas Day and Boxing Day and all that business. And because we spread everything over 2 months, so it's funny. I was getting my shopping delivered the other day, and the guy was saying something about Christmas, and I'm like, yeah, it's ridiculous how people shove it all into 2 days and expect that to be a good experience. I mean, I suppose some people do have a good experience, but it's not always friction and family coming together that don't see each other from one year to the next. And I said to the guy, I said, well, we spread it over 2 months. And he's like, that sounds like a good idea. I mean, it doesn't mean we're having a party every day, but I think it's an energy. It's an energy that you are tapping into, yeah. Because we're still in the underworld. We're still gathering the things that we need to take with us when we are reborn again. So I don't know. It just feels, and you've also at the moment, I nearly forgot that. Where are we? So 21st. So on the 19th. So 2 days ago, Pluto entered Aquarius, and it'll be there for 20 years. And that brings with it a whole new energy for this season. A whole new energy. So you might find as you walk in the underworld that there's more light. You never know. We never know how these things are going to kind of appear in our reality. Yeah. I mean, already, I'll tell you something with this Yuletide. Yeah. And this was on the day actually. On the 19th, we were doing a little bit of the marsh walk because Ian hasn't been able to do the marsh walk. So we've been going up to the bridge, which is maybe a mile. And the other day we went a little bit further. We went across the other side, and they have this is the energy of Pluto in Aquarius in the Yuletide. They've because some of the bits of the it's called there's 2 walks. There's the Darrant Valley Path and there's the Kent Coastline Walk, and part of the Marsh Walk is includes both those walks, if that makes sense. They've actually created a proper path and fencing either side of one of the bits of this walk that was really grotty and quite disgusting, actually. You have to walk through discarded bags of dog poo and other weird bits of rubbish. But they've cleared it all, and they've actually created a path and fencing, and it's like, wow, what's going on here? And we're like, oh yeah, Pluto in Aquarius. So expect to see amazing things this Yuletide, because we've seen about 5 different things, and we're like, wow. We could have never have even imagined that would be something that we would experience during this time. And that's just at the beginning. We're right at the beginning of that energy. So yeah, this Yuletide is it's quite an amazing one, actually. What I would say, lots of change going on at the moment. That's coming up a lot in readings, not just readings I'm doing, but readings I'm hearing other people. That's one thing I did forget, actually. I forgot to bring my cards out with me. Never mind. So let me just check my notes. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to say around that. No, that's kind of it. One of the things that we are going to do during this Yuletide, we're going to go and see the lights up in London, because they're quite beautiful. We're also going to do probably one trip to St Martin's in the Field for their free lunchtime classical concert. And I think we're also doing the Rochester Christmas market this year, which I think we did it once, years and years and years and years and years ago. I think it was even before we got the dog, so that was a long time ago. Hello, yeah, he's here now. He's here looking at me. I don't know what he wants. He's looking at me. He's a Jack Russell cross with something else. And then when they just stare at you, they just look at you, and you're like, "Oh, stop looking at me! Stop it! What do you want?" Anyway, yeah, so we got a few things planned for this Yuletide. Oh, here he comes. There you go. Sit on my lap then. But yeah, one of the main things for us, I suppose, at this time is just feeling into that energy. The energy of, what it feels like from being in the dark, because essentially that's when we're in the underworld and we are looking at the things that we might not necessarily want to look at, gather our experiences for when we come out of the other side. A lot of inner reflection going on at this time of year, which would have been normal for our ancestors. Lots of storytelling, lots of being with family and friends, because when there's no work to do outside because it's dark, obviously, and you've done everything just about, what is left is the enjoyment of the fruits of your labor. Yeah. So it's a jolly time. And the Romans certainly knew how to do it, because they had Saturnalia, which spans the time before the 25th. I think it goes up to the 26th or something of December. So, yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to say on Yule. So, I don't know where everyone is this evening. They've disappeared. Maybe it's because it's early Yule. They're all down the pub. So yeah, if you want to open it up, Andy, I know it's just us.
It's just you and I this evening for now. We did have a listener on earlier on, but she's done one.
Yeah, damn.
But no, and yeah, I love this time of year. We were just having a quick chat before the show started, and about the seasons changing and everything else. And I think in the modern day, we confuse quite a lot of stuff with propaganda from, as you mentioned earlier, those Those naughty Christians.
Naughty Christians.
I could use stronger terms to describe them, but we'll just use naughty. And I think for me personally, the whole, like you was explaining about your early Yule, your central Yule, and then your late Yule, which spans quite a long period of time. For me, the whole point of the celebration for me is that there's a small period of time where I allow myself to drink alcohol.
Right.
So if I extended that, then that would defeat the whole point of my celebration, my sort of raising a glass. Fortunately, I have two favourite tipples now. I used to be a massive vodka drinker.
Oh wow! Yeah.
But not anymore. But my two favourite tipples is Di Serrano,
okay,
or Amaretto, which is a very marzipan tasting drink.
Yeah.
When you add Coca-Cola to it, or any cola, not just any. There are other colas out there. You don't have to have Coca-Cola. And I don't drink it anyway during the year. So I don't drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola. I don't drink alcohol during the year. And I love the taste of marzipan. When I was a kid, I would peel the icing off the Christmas cake
to reveal the marzipan underneath.
Peel the marzipan off and eat that. Won't be bothered about the rest of it.
Yeah, I was the same.
And then my other tipple at this sort of coming festive time is Bailey's.
All right.
And I love adding it to my coffee in the morning. It's my little extra treat, which spans prior to the winter solstice, which is my main 3-day period. And like you say, it's boiled down to its nature's cycle, so it doesn't always fall on the same day. It fluctuates.
Yeah.
But it's basically a 3-day celebration at the winter solstice, the start of the winter solstice, which is the 21st traditionally. That's what everyone calls it. And then you got the 22nd and the 23rd. And then on the 24th, that's the final day where, like you explained earlier, where the sun has hidden away for those 3 days, or for that period of 3 to 4 days. And then it rises 1 degree, which is, again, how you explained it earlier about the birth of the sun, which is where those naughty Christians came along and said,
we'll have that.
We'll usurp that tradition and that festiveness, and we'll implant or imprint our authoritarian, living fear of God religion upon the mere infidels out there. And if you disagree with it, we'll kill you, which is what they did. Very naughty of them.
Yeah, very naughty. Naughty Christians.
Naughty Christians. So I have an extended period of time prior to the winter solstice and an extended period of time after the winter solstice, where in the morning my tipple added to my coffee is a nice drop of Bailey's. Instead of adding milk, my first coffee of the morning when I wake up, I always drop a little bit of milk in the bottom just to get the bowl rolling. And then after that, no more milk. It's just topping it up with coffee then. And that's ground coffee, not plastic coffee, instant coffee.
Oh, yeah.
So that whole period, I kind of done it intuitively, in sort of like what you've done, but not as monumentally as you do.
Well, if you're going to do something, I am a Leo after all, so I don't do things littly.
But now I'm on my own. I don't bother decorating the house or putting lights up or anything like that. When I had kids and I was having a family and bringing all the kids up, I did the whole thing. I was tinsel from the ceiling, fairy lights, trees, the whole kit and caboodle. Now I just have a wreath on the front door, and I change it, which I will be doing very soon, from an autumnal wreath to a winter solstice wreath.
Yeah, we have one like that on our door. It changes with the seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then come spring, it will be the spring wreath, which is probably going to be the summer wreath as well. It'll probably be enough to take me right through back then to the autumn wreath that will come out on the autumn equinox.
Yeah. Cool.
And then just rotate it around. And again, the symbolism there is the rotational or the cycle of the seasons and the earth, and how it all we all blend in with it and everything. So that's my little bit to do that. I've got all my families now, got their own families growing up, so I've no need. I've got my dog and my cat, and I'm quite happy with that, with my bottle of Baileys and a Serrano and Coke.
See, because we don't drink. Ours is around the food, definitely around the food.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we get in a non-alcoholic wine, but what's one of the drinks? Spiced apple juice is really good.
Oh yeah. With cinnamon in it, won't it? That'll have a heavy dose. Yeah.
So if you can juice your own apples, warm it up slightly with some cinnamon in it. Oh my God. Ugh. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, no, I absolutely love this festive period. And you know, one of the one of the hardest things to find in abundance for that sort of, let's say, Christmas period is cards that don't say Christmas on them.
Yeah.
Unless you buy a blank card, with a badger in a snowy field or something like that. Which I quite, in fact, that's what I've ended up doing. You can get little packs now, and they're quite good. And it's wild animals in the wintertime, in the snow. So it'd be a stag, a badger, a robin, a fox, a duck. There'll be various different animals. And those are my festive cards that I take round on the 21st of December with a small gift. And like you, I have a theme each year.
Yeah.
And my theme this year, I've put to my name, which is Zen Pagan. So I'm getting people 100% cotton